What's up guys, so if you're watching this video, you already know the drill, right? Starting off, we got Bowser Jr., who I'm gonna call Morton actually, because that's who I'm rocking, because he is the coolest of the Koopa kids. Man has a star on his face, because that's what he aspires to be one of these days. With that said, he's definitely not one of those, and ultimately, he is a core character. And honestly, as long as you play around the cart and his like janky stuff, like cart into like up B confirms, don't get caught by like forward smash at the ledge, which you kind of know a lot of more players are gonna fish for like this to the ledge and this because it's so rewarding. But like if you know that, you can kind of react to start and do a lot of get up attacks versus this, or even just like roll past this, or do like a ledge chop and do like a drop aerial when you see it coming. But otherwise, as long as you play to your character's strengths, you should be fine in the matchup. He's kind of a bad jack of all trades. His approach game is poor due to his frame data and mobility, and even hitboxes. His like card game plan is predictable. His projectiles are kind of memes. Like, you use down B against him pretty well. Neutral B is just, it doesn't really exist. So you kind of have to make a mistake for him to get anything meaningful going. And oftentimes he just gets like overwhelmed by whatever your character is really strong at, because he's kind of a subpar character in most areas. Maybe not the best advice, but it's sometimes hard because he does do everything to an extent. So when you fight Duck Hunt, you have to know one thing, and that, oh, actually two things. One is kill the gunman, because when you kill the gunman, first of all, it lays down as like a hurt box actually, so you can like block projectiles from you and lag moves, which is annoying. But Duck Hunt can't use the gunman until this is gone, right? So that's a big deal, because gunman is a huge part of his game plan everywhere. Secondly, the gunman actually have different shot speeds depending on which gunman it is. Like I think that one's mid speed, this one's kind of slow. I think also range is changed too depending on the gunman. This one's about average speed, maybe slightly slow. And that was very fast. So if you see a Duck Hunt get that guy out, just respect that, because it's too fast for him to actually like chase you really with, unless you're pretty close. So, and once you have the gunman gone, he doesn't have a great defense, honestly. That's kind of your go sign to overwhelm him. Just watch out for side B, because they're gonna use that a lot to like blow up if you're getting too aggressive. And speaking of blowing up, by the way, when it comes to neutral B, recognize that a lot of times trading with neutral B can be in your favor. Like if you're both at like around the same percent, if your frame data is faster than Duck Hunt, you can just mash before you can in these situations. If you're lower percent than him, a lot of times you're in a good position to hit him after the trade. You just don't want to trade with him generally if your frame data is like worse than him and you're around like the same percents. Or if you're higher percents than him, the trade is generally not that great, because you might die or maybe in a spot where he can like double jump and hit you. Can isn't always a great trade for him, and that's kind of the moral of the story here. Alright, Mii Brawlers. Let me show off some of the cool ones I have. Got Star Platinum, Black Mage, see Scorpion down there, All Might, and then we have, I'm proud of this one right here. That one. This one is a breadwinner. So I'm sorry, but the siren's outside. I'm gonna have to wait for that. Oh, they're gone. Okay, so when it comes to the Mii Brawler, it's really important to stay mobile versus him. Between like his speed, frame data, command grab, which I'm assuming that most of them are gonna use, safe pressure. Like if you're not being mobile versus him and you're just kind of staying in place and like swinging a lot, he's gonna feel like this overwhelming like offensive ninja. But because his like his hitboxes are poor, his dash attack is a pretty committal move because it's pretty punishable. If you're being mobile and making it hard for him to get up close and hit you, and you're making him have to overextend with his dash attack and whatever burst option he chooses, it's gonna be a little bit rough for him. It doesn't feel like a great way to fight him. It doesn't feel like any like super exploitable weakness, but it's more so it doesn't let him exploit his strength that well. The only thing I can tell you is try to get stuck in the corner, because he has a lot of really nasty kill confirms in the corner, but he actually struggles a little bit with the kill if you're just playing mid-stage properly and not getting caught by like random forward smash. Yeah, otherwise lack of range, just exploit that. If you have like really safe like spacing tools and projectiles, you know, he's gonna have to deal with that. He doesn't have a great way around it. So you have to accept when fighting Mii Swordfighter that this character slows the game down. Like these moves right there are like you do not get to approach aggressively moves. With that said, this character isn't really great at putting up an offense. His frame data and his hitboxes are pretty lacking for a swordy actually. Like these are like very subpar and normals overall. So he kind of relies on just like, oh, you can overextend, punish you. Which means if you play it slowly and like kind of walk him into the corner, he's gonna eventually like, yeah, as I said, get kind of walked into the corner. If you just kind of wait until you see a predictable option, like he gets too habitual with a certain projectile or a certain spacing tool, you can use that and just be like, okay, you're doing exactly what I want you to do, and go in and punish him. Keep that in mind that like the game slows down, but his offense isn't strong, so he doesn't really get to go in unless he does things like this, which are punishable. And once you're in like kind of the range of his normals, because they're all pretty poor, you can kind of just fight him around like here pretty well, I'd say. Don't be too afraid of him unless you're at kill percents, because he does have pretty solid kill power. I had to show you guys that one. That one's so good, right? So I wanted to use this Mii Gunner in particular for this move, because this move is like a staple for Mii Gunner, right? I feel like if the Mii Gunner player is not using this move, they're almost trolling because of how good this move is. It covers like a perfect space, it lets them pressure, gives them ledge traps. It just does so much for them. However, this move has one big weakness. So when they use this move, you can actually hit it back at the Mii Gunner, or at least knock it away from you. And that's a big part of fighting him, because that move opens up a lot of pressure openings for the character. It covers a big blind spot. If you're constantly swinging that move back at Mii Gunner, not like you can hit it back at him and deal damage and put him in really bad spots, but it lets you approach him from that angle, right? Because if you're challenging the move and it's no longer working, suddenly that's a big blind spot if he wants to jump there. He doesn't cover that blind spot well otherwise. His anti-airs are like, I mean, like if he's jumping, like you can do this, but that's kind of slow start. You can generally run him down. Being able to hit this move back at him is such a key part of fighting him. I guess outside of that specific move, when it comes to Mii Gunner in general, it's kind of like fighting Toon Link, where you have to accept you're going to take a lot of damage in neutral from just these small projectiles. But it doesn't actually matter much, because he can't like get big damage generally off this stuff. He doesn't kill too well. So you're going to get poked out a lot. And just accepting that's how the matchup plays a lot of times is an important part of the mentality of fighting Mii Gunner. Good thing to keep in mind for all the Miis is that you want to take note of what their moveset is, because their moveset tells you a lot about how they want to play. You know, if they don't have the command grab, that means they want to go for maybe like a lot of like the bursty side B when they got buffed that can kill pretty early. Or like if they have a counter, obviously they can't like use 0 so down be at a disadvantage. So, and that's just an example. It's not going to go through all the different ones for different Miis. And with that said, guys, that is it for part whatever of this video. I don't even know anymore. Catch y'all for the next one.